Hello, Senior Stoner fans. It's the real Senior Stoner back at you for your Budsy bottle, Puffco Budsy bottle, and the wand by iSpire, Diamond Dab of the Day. We're bringing out two heavy hitters today. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me. As always, if you enjoyed today's topic, you know what to do. Join the Senior Stoner family with that subscription. That's free. Send a like, please, and I respond to all those lovely comments. Let's get started with today's topic. It's almost New Year's, okay? You know what? We've got to find ways to stick to our New Year's resolutions this year. I think we can help. Let's get started. It's a perfect time to turn the page, the new year. Feels like a fresh start, change bad habits, establish new routines. These things help people grow exponentially with the transition to the new year. Emotional, social, physical, and intellectual growth. But it's much easier to make these resolutions than it is to keep them. By the end of March, many people have abandoned their resolve and settled back into their old patterns. But really, why do so many people make the resolutions to begin with? What are these holiday New Year's resolutions all about? Well, only about 12% of the people who make New Year's resolutions are successful in achieving their goals. Now, while many people feel like they don't achieve their goals, there's good news, okay? If you set resolutions, you are 10 times more likely to actually make a change in your life than if you just go by and say, I might take care of that in the new year. So, what we need to think about, since it's coming up on a new year, what can we do to overcome the struggles we've had with willpower, with determination, maybe even ingenuity? What do we do to make it more likely that we're going to keep our resolutions? Well, you can choose a very specific goal. Your goal might be to lose weight, but you got to be more specific than that. You got to say, I want to lose 10 pounds by such and such a date. And that's an opportunity to do exactly what you want to do and accomplish if you stick to your goal over the course of the next year. And it's only an example. You've got to try to limit your resolutions. We might have a long list of potential New Year's resolutions. However, when you pick just one and focus your energies on it rather than spreading yourself too thin, you're going to achieve. And when you achieve one small goal, it'll boost your belief in yourself. Think about it. For larger goals, we talked about it with other discussions. You got to break it down into small pieces. That's like the baby shark saying to the mommy, how do I eat the whale? And the mommy says, one bite at a time. Taking on too much at once can be a daunting thing, and particularly difficult if it's a new behavior we're trying to establish. So, focusing on ourselves is good, but let's make these things achievable. Let's put time into planning also. Don't wait until the last minute. Don't wait until tomorrow night. What you want to do is brainstorm and tackle the behavior changes that you think you'll be able to do. Maybe even get a detailed written plan. And you know what? Think about how often you've had to do things in your life and how much better they work out with a little bit of planning. So if we start writing these things down and we tweak it and know exactly what we're looking for, and if we had 10, we could make it 4 real things we want to do in the new year. You know what? You've done right, because you need to start those small steps. Taking on too much quickly is a common reason why so many New Year's Eve resolutions fail. You start with the diet, then you go to your change in the way your hair is, you're going to go to change the way you talk, change the way you walk, change the way you do everything. And it's very hard to do that. But small steps truly lead to success. Think about a marathon runner. They go out for jogs 2 or 3 times a week and slowly work up to longer runs. If you're going to want to eat healthy, start by replacing some of the foods you don't like as much. And then you'll be able to tackle the bigger things. You know what? It may seem like a slow start, but small incremental changes make it easier to stick to your New Year's Eve habits that you want to do and increase the likelihood of long-term success. You've got to avoid repeating past failures. It's a strategy. It's important because if you choose to reach the same goals you've tried to reach in the past without evaluating your previous results, asking which strategies were the most effective, which ones were the least effective, and what prevented you from doing what you wanted to do last year, the suggestion is alter your resolution slightly to make it more feasible. By changing your approach, we'll be more likely to see results this year. And you got to remember that changing anything is a process. You don't just flick a switch and there it is. So if you make a misstep or two, you can restart at any time and continue your journey toward your goal. It may take you a little bit longer than you would have liked to achieve your goals, but remember, it is not a race to the finish. Because once you've made the commitment to changing your behavior, it may be something that you continue to work on for the rest of your life. We've got to remember that we can get support, yes. I've said it a million times. It's the buddy system, actually. Having a support system, having some camaraderie, having a like-minded pal or loved one be in on your goals with you will only help you get to the next step. Because really what you want to do is renew your motivation. During the first days of a resolution period, you're going to feel confident and highly motivated on every goal because you haven't faced the discomfort or temptation associated with changing that behavior. It makes it look easy, but it's not. Well, then you got to deal with the realities. You got to deal with the realities as simple as dragging yourself into a 6 a.m. gym after you've been out the night before, or stopping cigarettes and going through nicotine withdrawal. How you face these things, how we face these things is going to be the key. The sources of our inspiration will keep us going through rough times because we're going to keep working on our goals. Some people just have an initial spark of motivation in January. That's not going to be us. We are going to stick with it. We are going to work with our goals all year long. Yes, and we're going to learn. We're going to learn to adapt because if we get close to something, training an animal, a dog, is a funny thing. Come, Sugar, and if Sugar looks at me, I have to say, good girl, and pet her. She hasn't come to me, but she's looked at me. And if she walks past me but comes towards me, got to pet her again, and because you know what? She's getting closer. So you got to learn and you got to adapt. You got to really find a way to get the important information to your brain, to understand what triggers. That's right. What triggers when you feel the understanding, the epiphany of what you're trying to accomplish. You see, you got to dream big. That's right. Dream big, but break it down into small bites. Understand why you shouldn't make a change. That's right. There are going to be things you might want to do on your resolution list, which you might say to yourself after looking twice, you know what? I don't need to do that. Because you're going to need to commit yourself. And if you can't commit yourself, why sign on for it? You got to give yourself a medal. That's right. Pat yourself on the back. Give yourself a medal every time you reach whatever point it is your incremental point. You made it to 4 o'clock in the afternoon today. Oh my God, I made it to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't care what it is. We need to find something to give ourselves encouragement, praise, and reinforcement. And you know what we might be able to do to do those things? Learn from the past. Learn from the things we did well last year, if there are any. Things we did well the year before and the year before that, if we can remember them. Now you're starting to stack up things that you did well. You're building your confidence to do it again. You're going to learn from the past. You're going to give thanks for what you do have and for what you do. And yes, you can set your sights on the things you want to change, the enhancements you want to make in your life. But you always have to remember, always, that the key is understanding who and what you are now and what you'd like to become, how you'd like to become. You're not changing from 6'4" to 5'3". You're not changing from going to be a righty to being a lefty. All you're doing is trying to modify or add some behaviors to your life that will make you better. This is the Real Senior Stoner, and I'm diverting now to share with you my Cocoa Nugs, my 500 milligram treat. I really enjoy these things. Pardon me for chewing, but I usually take 100 milligrams this way. A very nice head. Then I'll take some of the Punch Bar, which is 225 milligrams, 9 pieces. Doing the math, that's 25 pieces each. I break it in thirds and put that in. This creates for me a really good place in my brain. I want to thank you all for joining me today for a discussion on New Year's resolutions. Now let's move to our Raw Garden Diamond Dab of the Day. We're going to be using our Puffco Budsy bottle, and the wand. A couple of my favorite devices here. Wow, look at those stones. Well, let's give one of these stones a workout. Here we go. Into the wand bowl, which is sitting on top of the Budsy bottle. And then what we're going to do is come in with the wand. Here we go. Going to go at 500 degrees. Here we are. Going to slide it right over. Remember, if you enjoyed today's video, join the family. Send that subscription. There's no charge. And you know what? I'm almost to that 20,000 mark, which is a personal goal of mine. Send a like too. Have a great day, everybody. And remember, New Year's resolutions shouldn't be bad things for you. Should be fun. Have a great one. Cheers. Oh, that's smooth. Wow. Thanks again, everybody. A true pleasure. Have a great day, and thanks for joining me. Cheers.